And there it was, man. Michael Chandler just defeated Charles Oliveira. And I don't know why Michael Chandler was a plus 200 underdog. This was nothing but a steal. Free money. Money in the bank. I can't believe they would make Chandler an underdog against Charles Oliveira. And I know why. I think it was because of the time off and they underestimated Chandler because of the time off and all that. But just like how they fight, I'm surprised that the odds made Charles like a minus 250 favorite. I just didn't get it. So let me just say this about Charles' style, because you're probably like, damn, how is Chandler catching with all these heavy-handed shots? It wasn't hard to catch Charles with heavy-handed shots. Charles' fight style, dude. Yeah, dude, I'm cowabunga, dude. High guard, dude. I'm coming forward, you know. Sometimes he does a little Strickland thing where he raises his knees too. But he comes in with a high guard, and sometimes their knees raised, and he just comes in with reckless abandonment. Now, there's a problem with doing that with the most explosive, dangerous first-round fighter in UFC history. You're putting your chin on the platter. You're putting yourself out there to get hit. And even in the first fight, that fight was mere seconds from being wraps, and it would have changed the whole trajectory of the division. And Charles does this a lot. So I feel like people are starting to normalize, yeah, dude, Charles, man, he could get beat up every time. He's still going to come back and win. I've said it before. I'll say it again. That style has no longevity to it. It has no, getting beat up and then coming back and winning like Tony Ferguson used to do, like Yuri Prochazka used to do, or still kind of try to does, and like Charles does. That has an expiration date on it. It's like when you're drinking milk, dude, like in the refrigerator, like, dude, bro, this shit nasty. Like, bro, that's because it has an expiration date. There's a time where that style goes to shit. That style of Charles Oliveira, this is the start of where it's going to go to shit. This is going to be the fight. Like, he's lost, of course. He's lost to Islam. He's lost to Armin, but they have something in common, good wrestling now. Chandler does have good wrestling too. I don't think a Chandler has like that level of wrestling of like an Islam, of course, and an Armin. But if Chandler really wants to, he can wrestle. Chandler's biggest weakness is not his skill. Skill for skill, this shouldn't even be a comparable fight. Chandler's more skilled than Charles. Charles is better than the BJJ. That's it. Striking Chandler, explosiveness Chandler, wrestling Chandler. You know what I'm saying? Ability to control someone within the grappling department Chandler. Like, I really feel like Chandler it's the way better fighter. But that being said, fight IQ wise, both guys aren't really the best. Like, I'm gonna just say this: their fight IQ isn't like the best. Like, Charles does stupid stuff, kind of takes dumb risks and gets rocked, but then he recovers on his back. Cool. Chandler, the same thing. He just kind of plays to the crowd. He's kind of reckless, throws fights with reckless abandonment. He's like a 99 overall in the first round, and then like he stops using his IQ, becomes like 80 overall. And this is a 5-round fight, which is kind of scary for both guys. Did the fight go the distance? You're probably asking me. I don't think so. I do think Charles got finished. I'm pretty sure Charles did get finished within the first 3 rounds, just because he was putting his chin on the platter too much, and Chandler overall found the shot. Now, if it did go the distance, if for some miracle this went the distance, that's still going to favor Chandler. And you're probably going to be like, but Kenny, Chandler fatigues. I agree with that to a sense. But I think Charles' fatigue, or his ability to fatigue, is a little bit worse. And I've seen it in the Armin Sarukian fight. One thing about Chandler, when he's fatigued, he's still throwing kind of reckless. He's still throwing heavy shots, explosiveness. But he's just reckless when he does that. That's the problem with Chandler. It's not really that he fatigues the worst. It's he's fatiguing, but while he's fatiguing, he's still jumping into stupid shots and like looking like he wants to get counterpunched or something. That's his problem. The opposite thing is with Oliveira. As the fight goes along, Oliveira's output simply goes down. Like, he just doesn't throw much, and he's kind of just there to be there to get hit. He doesn't really throw much. He doesn't really throw much output. Against Armin Sarukian, he barely was throwing anything in the later rounds. You can see the tired, how fatigued he was. He had someone like Armin like out striking him on the feet. And before that, you can say what you want after, but before that, they weren't saying Armin was, oh, dude, yeah, Armin, elite striker, dude. Like, he's the next Max Holloway. They weren't saying that. But Charles striking is a little bit overrated, and I'm gonna explain why. Because Charles striking relies on, yeah, dude, I'm just gonna come forward very aggressive, man. And if I hit you, it's gonna hurt. But if you hit me, you're gonna hurt me too. That style is just so bad. Like, it's an overrated style. And yes, you're probably gonna be like, but Kenny, he knocked out Chandler the first fight, bro. That was timing. That was a beautiful timing. Is that gonna happen? Like, what is the likelihood of that happening again? Probably like 2 out of 10, dude. The likelihood of Charles, like, at the start of the first 10 seconds of a second round, just coming in and landing a left hook because Chandler wasn't ready for it, it's not likely. And I know people are gonna like hold on to that and stuff. And I know people are gonna bring up, oh yeah, but Kenny's still the BJJ. He doesn't even need to knock him out. First round, when they first fought the first time, Chandler was in the most compromised position. Charles Oliveira had his back when Charles Oliveira was fresh, all this stuff. He was ready. They weren't slippery yet. Charles had him in the most compromised position. still wasn't able to find a choke or some kind of submission to finish Chandler. And it wasn't because Charles is bad at BJJ. We know Charles is the most submission in UFC history. There's obviously something to that. The thing what it is that Chandler's defensive grappling, defensive wrestling, comes from his defensive wrestling background. He knows how to defend submissions correctly. He's just smart. He just knows how to do that. Yes, when he's fatigued, you're more likely to get him a submission if he's tired and stuff. But I just think his defensive grappling in general is underrated. Now, you guys are probably like, okay, but Kenny, bro, why didn't the time off affect Chandler, dude? Like, why is Chandler still cowabunga today? The reason he won today was because the time off that we're gaslighting was like it was time off. It wasn't time off. He was training, I would argue, harder than Charles. Like, that might be crazy, but like the kind of workouts like Chandler does, he trains so specifically on explosive movements because he knows he's an explosive fighter. Now, what would Charles' biggest weakness be, in my opinion, going against an explosive fighter? Because Charles does get hit a lot of times. I don't think Dustin Poirier is explosive. Yeah, does he have good power, good boxing as well? Yes. Is he explosive? No. But he had Charles in some compromised positions. But what could get Charles compromised the most is someone who has explosive style, who could jump into something, hit him with some nice hooks, with good entries, just overwhelm him with explosiveness. No one can do that better than Chandler. Like, give me an explosive fighter with heavy hands, make them have good wrestling, good defensive grappling, and make them have better endurance than Charles. I'm not saying Chandler has good endurance, but like I said, I'm telling you, bro. So I kind of want this fight to go the distance, just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Chandler's endurance is still better than Charles because although Chandler gets tired, he still throws punches. When Charles gets tired, the punches don't happen anymore. He's just not throwing. Like, why aren't you throwing, dude? I know you're tired, but which is worse, being tired and not throwing and just being a puncher bag, or being tired and still throwing but just throwing with reckless abandonment? They both have their, their negatives, I'll say, because like Chandler could get caught more. He's more likely to get caught doing that by like some fucking, I don't know, anything. And then with Charles, is like you're just not given the opportunity to even hit someone or hurt someone. So now you're just getting beat up. Charles in his last fight, I'm gonna say this too. Charles in his last fight, people were impressed. I wasn't. Like, I don't know. Like, I know like he lost to Armin. Armin's a great fighter. Armin beat him up very comfortably on the feet. Armin like out wrestled him, controlled him for like nearly 9 minutes of that fight. Like, landed some good ground and pound. But Charles had moments. He didn't really have like times where he was destroying Armin, but he just had moments where he almost got Armin, and people were like glazing that like it was something crazy. Like, oh, dude, he almost did this. He almost submitted him in the second. He almost submitted in the first. Bro, almost doing something does not quantify as like winning on a score. And I know people are saying, oh, that was a robbery, dude. Like, I just think Charles won because he almost choked him out, even though Armin was out striking him, out wrestling him, controlling him more times than ground and pound. Charles almost submitted him, so that should win you around. No, it shouldn't. And if this goes the distance and Charles has a similar moment where he almost submits Chandler, I know they'll be crying robbery because I know how the Charles fans are, but it's all good. Listen, I love Charles too. I'm just not like deluded. And that's why I'm actually picking Chandler, because you gotta look at this fight from a stylistic point of view, and you can't take too much from the first fight. I remember when the last time I did this video for Underdog, might have been Bilal Muhammad versus Leon Edwards, and everyone just kept bringing up the first fight, like, yeah, but in the first fight, this happened, this, bro. Stylistically, and I took my like bias away. I just looked at Bilal and Leon as stylistic fighters, and I figured out what style would overwhelm the other one. I knew Bilal was gonna overwhelm him. I'm doing the same thing here. I'm not really like the first fight. You could get a lot of stuff from it, especially in that first time when Chandler had a lot of success, and when Charles landed that left hook. Does Charles always land a left hook? He lands it sometimes, but it hasn't been likely in his last couple fights now. Although I see some ways Charles can win, they all kind of come from him like either capitalizing on Chandler's like lack of fight IQ as the fight elongates. But as the fight elongates, I also look at Charles as someone who's kind of tentative. So that's even contradictory in itself. So I really just feel like stylistically, the guy who has a more imposing style that could overwhelm the other style is Chandler's style of fighting could overwhelm someone like Charles Oliveira. And I feel like Chandler could get him out of there in the first 3 rounds. But if he doesn't TKO him in the first 3 rounds and it goes to points, I just feel like the more active fighter as the 5-round fight commences. Because remember, the Charles vs. Armin was 3 rounds and he was fatigued. He's tired. You know what I'm saying? 5-round fight is something different, bro. I just don't know if Charles is going to, like, if you're not throwing that much output in a 3-round fight, I just don't see you even throwing much in a 5-round fight. So that's why I'm also going to lean Chandler. So Michael Chandler will win today. Bro said will win today. Michael Chandler did win today. That's why you're back and looking at this video like, damn, Kenny did it again. Kenny legitimately just cooked again. It's nothing to me, bro. I'm too good with these UFC come back to these videos, bro. Like, I just know who Chandler is, and this is a steal, bro. So if you have any bread, bro, throw that shit on the line, bro. You hear me? Throw that shit on the line, bro, because that shit gonna hit. I don't care what parlay you're going to do, throw Chandler or just do an individual bet on Chandler, because trust me, these odds are disgusting for Chandler. They're sleeping on Chandler because of time off, not realizing Chandler was getting ready for Conor McGregor that entire time off, so he's still training. So that's why the time off did not affect Chandler in this fight. So don't be surprised like, wait, why did Chandler take so much time off but he still looked like this? Bro, because he was training for somebody. It might be a different stylistic matchup, but it's the fact that he wasn't inactive. Like Stipe versus Jones, Stipe wasn't training. He was just taking time off. Chandler is actually training. He's actually here. He's ready to work. So I do think Michael Chandler got it done. No. I know Michael Chandler got it done against Charles Oliveira. Charles, I love you, but today was just Michael Chandler's night. It is what it is. Keep the ball rolling. And that's it for me. Let me know what y'all think down below. I know I clicked on this prediction. After I get it right, hit that subscribe button. We about to hit 9K. We're probably 9K when this video is posted. So journey to 10K. See y'all soon. I love y'all, bro. 2, 3.